Hey, great win. Obviously, hard to win. And that's one of the things you come out here. Every Saturday, 50% of the teams don't win, and we're on the 50% on the good side again this week. So the great crowd. Obviously, it was a great celebration for the Edmondson family and Mr. Two-Bits. It was great to see that. Really good to see, too, a lot of our fans sticking around. I know, we had a lead, but people sticking around through most of the game and getting excited, showing the passion to be back out there and giving us that home field advantage. I know it's only going to get better as the season goes on, too, and our fans kind of get warmed up. And our team, I obviously give them, Jason did a really good job. He looked in the first half, able to frustrate us, able to control the tempo of the game, able to really slow it down, create some first downs, keep our offense off the field. In those type of games, in this type of game, we have better athletes. And so, you want to get more plays. You want to get the ball in your athletes' hands the more times. And, if that happens, the percentage-wise, you're going to score more points and be more explosive. And so I thought he did a great job in the first half, kind of frustrating us, keeping their offense on the field, keeping our offense off the field, winning time of possession. So we got some things we got to clean up overall. We'll do that. What do you guys got? I don't know.
Felipe completed his first 15 throws.
Good.
I think.
Yeah.
How would you assess missed two passes? It seemed like a lot of short stuff, but then it kind of opened it up for Bam.
Yeah, well, this is a tough team to throw against. And they're playing drop 8 all the time. You're going to have time, but I think that showed his maturity a little bit of taking what they're giving us. Making throws. And they got 8 guys dropping all over the place, and then they got guys running deep. So you don't okay, throw it deep. No, and then they got 5 guys underneath in zone coverage. You got, they got deep coverage and they got underneath coverage, and you got to really take your time. So I thought he did a good job of really not forcing things. I think he might have missed 1 or 2 throws down the field that he had. But also, though, there's no need to force it. Take what they're giving and check it down. If you didn't feel great about it, we talked about some of them on the sideline. I think there are some things I thought he really improved on from this time last year, and I played pretty well. Those are pretty good numbers.
Two games.
Most people take them, right? I know. I'm sure it's Felipe Franks. This is Florida, and playing quarterback Florida, they'll be like, I don't know. Got a long way to go. He threw 2 incomplete passes today. Not from you guys, just the general, everybody in the world. 2
games into the season, where do you feel the team is? You guys open SEC in a week.
We got a long way to go. But you know what? It's interesting. The first game was kind of such a unique, special game. I thought, and you come off it, and I thought we cleaned a little bit of things up. I think we had a lot to clean up off of this game, and we got to take some big steps forward. Before next week, we get into conference play. Now, hey, you got to understand human nature, which is, and these guys are 18 to 22 years old. It's hard to peak and motivate yourself to come out. That the big challenge is: are we giving maximum effort every single day? We're a little more talented than they were. They're really well coached. They did an excellent job. Their kids played really hard. We just have a little bit more talent, and our guys know that. And so, but now it's got to really crank up about 10 notches getting into conference play, especially having to go on the road. And Kentucky's an excellent football team. Mark's done a great job with that program, and so I think we got to really kind of crank it up, and it starts on Monday morning when we show up. It's got to be a greater sense of urgency for us. I think we have a good attitude. I just think we need to have a little more grind and sense of urgency to be exact in every one of our details.
Dan, do you have any early sense on the severity of the injuries for Tony and Henderson?
No, we'll know a little bit more. Tony, they were going to check out a little bit more. His could be. They didn't think CJ's. From what we learned, what they gave me, they don't think it was much. At most, maybe a slight ankle sprain. But, obviously we'll get a lot more information on Monday for you.
It seemed the first quarter you were really trying to establish the running game, and you weren't maybe able to find that. Is that something that you were trying to get early on going?
Yeah, well, we want to be balanced, and one of the ones try to do is run the ball, establish a run, and get their, all these guys that are dropping so deep up a little bit and be able to take some shots down the field. Like I said, they're kind of a little different defense, they're a little different style of defense than you're used to seeing. So, but they did a really good job, and as the game went on, you look, I guess, if you look statistically, a pretty solid night for us. I think it was just frustrating. That first half went fast. We weren't getting a lot of plays. We didn't get a lot of possessions, and we end up making a mistake and end up with a field goal in the first possession. We miss a block and don't convert a fourth down on another possession, and then we kind of run out of time at the end of the half. But great learning things. Think about that play at the end of the half. Boy, that was well executed, I think. Obviously not the hold and you'd love to catch it. You know what I mean? But to even get the ball snapped within that situation, I was really pleased with our guys. Showed, we had some veteran guys. You look at the quarterback's receiver, run back, and be able to manage all of that to get that ball snapped at that situation was pretty good.
I understand you probably didn't want to talk about having the opportunity to play younger guys late in this game, coming into it. But what does it mean for guys like Kyrie Elam and Chester Kimmer to get in there and get their feet wet?
Yeah, it was great. One of the things we did, we played guys all through the game. If you saw that. That was one of the things we went into. It wasn't like, okay, we're going to play this group, get them out, and then play this group. I wanted guys rolling right from the beginning throughout the team. And so I think it seemed that way, that we were rolling a lot of players through. Maybe I'm off on that. I'll see when I go watch the film. But, that was the plan, and it felt like we were rolling a lot of players through. And so it wasn't just like, okay, hey, younger guys, you're getting these reps kind of in game in hand. They were getting the reps with, the one defense with real stuff going on, and same offensively.
Dan, just want to ask, what does Mr. Two Bits mean to you, and what do you think it means to the school?
Well, so much. College. The thing that makes college football so special is tradition. Okay, and it is. And I've been so fortunate through the years. Coaching at different schools. Being at Mississippi State with the cowbell. And I know people kind of thinking that's a funny thing and laugh at it, like, oh, that cowbell's annoying. I'm going to tell you what, I'm not going to get into the stories with some of them, but that's not a funny thing to people. It's a generational thing in a family. Mr. Two Bits has been here for how many years? 1949. How many people in this room were alive in 1949? Yeah. Right? Think of that. And, that's a tradition that, people, like, when you're talking 3 to 4 generations worth of people, that's kind of something that they embrace. That's what makes college football so special, such a special experience. And, in pro football, as guys get traded, you're a Gator. You're here. It means something special to you, to the fans, to the people that went to school here, to the Gator Nation, and saying, hey, I've been through good years. I've been through bad years. I've been through this. I bleed orange and blue. And Mr. Two Bits is, that's such a great tradition here that it is something that is really, really special. And that's something that's special for us here at Florida.
And just to follow up about Jacob Copeland tonight, what did you think about his performance? And I saw you guys give him a handoff. Is it fair to say that if Kadarius Toney were to miss any time, that he might slide into that role?
Yeah, he's a guy we wanted to, we work. There's guys we want to get the ball to, and so it's not just one guy that we want to get the ball to. There's a lot of different ways, guys we want to get the ball to. He's one of them. So we have different ways to get the ball to different guys, make sure they get different touches. And he could do that. He looked pretty explosive with the ball in his hand. Made some good catches. Obviously he's got a ways to go. A little bit, still learning. The intricacies of playing. Like I said, because being hurt last year and a little bit through spring hurt him just with his knowing the grasp of the offense of being an every down player. But it certainly he got a lot of reps today and got the opportunity to get the ball in his hand, and he looked pretty good when he did it.
How Sean Davis played the first couple games?
I thought he's been pretty good. So, for a position to us that's just so thin in the secondary because of injuries. We had a guy suspended. You know, we've had guys transfer. We've had guys have career-ending injuries. You know, we've had season-ending injuries at that. It's put a lot of pressure on those guys back there. And I thought, you know, I mean, he's stepped up and had to, you know, I love rolling guys through it, and those guys had to play a little extra plays. So, you know, but I think he's handled it pretty well.
And the run game, what's it going to take to kind of just generate a little bit more there?
Yeah, we
when
gotta see.
it matter. I mean, I know it came around in the second half, but
I mean, we
when
had
you kinda-
231 yards rushing. It's not a bad night.
No, that's good, but in the first half, when you kind of needed it, it wasn't really.
Well, we just, you know, we didn't have the ball much. How many plays did we run in the first half?
Like 17 after the first quarter, so it wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't have the ball much. I mean, get the ball more, be a good start. Run more plays. Go ahead. I'm waiting. I know you guys aren't going to ask it, though.
How about the play of your offensive line? It seemed that they kind of got into the game as you went along as well, too.
Yeah, you know, I mean, they're a young group. Obviously, they said we're playing a very unorthodox style of defense. And that, you know, that shows up front. I mean, receivers run around, the quarterback's got to kind of hold the ball. I mean, it's scary to play if you don't have a veteran quarterback that's going to kind of be patient and not try to force the ball, but can stand in the pocket and stay a little extra. I think those guys, you know, they got to learn to, you know, when they see crazy stuff like that, how to overcome, how to adapt, and how to learn. And when you have a bunch of young guys, it was probably a little bit trickier. But, you know, as the game went on, we made some adjustments. You know, John made a couple adjustments with them, and I think the one thing, they were a little slower on the adjustments than I'd like them to be. You know what I mean? Picking up the adjustments. Once we did start to pick up the adjustments, we did a lot better.
Are you seeing the kind of progress so far that you thought you'd see, or maybe a little bit behind or whatever?
No. We've given up 1 sack in 2 games, right? Or 2 sacks in 1 game. How many do we have for game 1? 1? And 1 tonight. Ran for 231 yards. That's okay. You know, I mean, we're going to keep teaching. You know, I mean, I don't know there's a position that doesn't have to get a lot better.
Dan, you guys have your opening drive. You get in the red zone, not able to score, and then you
Yeah,
finish.
what happened on that? We had a
Yeah,
mistake.
Kyle slipped.
Huh?
Kyle slipped.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah. So you
tackle by the 20-yard line.
Yeah. But then to have that happen, then come in second and third quarter and reel off 4 touchdown drives, just how big was that to see from that unit?
Oh, it was huge. I mean, I don't know that it was a super friendly halftime, to be honest with you. So it's good to see us come out and play harder in the second half.
And then to have Kyer Elam make his first career
That was
interception.
great. First turnover for the defense this season, too. You know, I mean, one of the things in this game is you give them credit. I mean, you know, the team came in here. You know, you watch a lot of times, and you know, they converted some first downs in the first half. They didn't turn the ball over until late. You know, give Jason and his team a lot of credit that way. They played a pretty solid game, and you know, and you know. That's credit to them. And then great play by Kyer. I mean, it's jump ball. He's one-on-one, and he goes and makes the play. Great play by him. And happy. Hopefully he gets some confidence to build off of with that.